Hey guys, welcome to this new pop-up training video. In this video we're going to talk about A/B testing and how to go from low converting pop-ups to high converting pop-ups. And I'm going to show you multiple examples. We're going to play around multiple sites. We're going to show you how to implement all of this. We're going to show you in which order you should do things. We're going to show you how to brainstorm the headlines, how to brainstorm the lead magnets and all these things. So it's going to be a pretty long video. So, sit comfortably, let's get started. So let's just talk for 2 minutes about why you want to A/B test your pop-ups, and and that essentially is the difference between a free opt-in pop-up such as Sumomi that allow you to create very simple, okay looking pop-ups, but it doesn't allow you to do targeting, it doesn't allow you to A/B test or anything. So all you can really do is create a pop-up and just hope for the best. Whereas if you use a premium plugin like Thrive Leads, then you are able to test your pop-ups against each other and all these things, and as a result you'll be able to over time do better and better and better and reach these very high converting numbers such as like 5, 6, 7% that we've seen on some of our sites. And you'll see that on the course itself. I'm going to show you some screenshots. But yeah, let's just take a little bit of a simulation. And that's why I'm also advising people to invest in these premium plugins. So let's just open a notepad, and you can see I prepared a bunch of headlines for later, but let's not look at that initially. Let's just imagine that you have a site with 10,000 hits per month, and I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you can see. That's not here. Here we go. So 10,000 hits per month, you get 3% conversion rate, you did pretty well, and that gives you around 300 leads per month. So let's just write it down. So that's pretty cool. However, if you're able to go from 3% to 5% conversion rate, it's not that much, it's quite realistic with proper A/B testing, then you go to 500 leads per month, right? Pretty basic math, you didn't need me to figure it out, but that means that your growth is 66% higher just because you've been able to optimize that pop-up. And if you're selling something after that pop-up, that means you'll sell 66% more of your products. It really means a lot. And that only costs like the price of a premium plugin. I'm not trying to sell you here. You can use any plugin you want. I recommend Thrive Leads, but you can really use anyone. You don't have to click in the links in that course. But that's why you want to be A/B testing, because especially when you get into high traffic numbers, so 10,000 visits or more, that will see your pop-up, then the amount of leads changes drastically for an extra 1% conversion rate, and in terms of growth for your business it means really a lot. So it's quite important, and the way we're going to do that is by creating a lot of different pop-ups and test them against each other. And there's actually an interview with Matthew Woodward in this course where we talk about exactly how he was A/B testing everything and what the results were of that, and you see it's pretty impressive. And really, if you went from 300 to 500 leads per year, that means you get an extra 2,400 leads per year, sorry. And 2,400 leads per year, if you convert even 1%, that's 240 extra sales per year. That could change a lot of things for you. So yeah, that's why I recommend you do that. Now, can every plugin do A/B testing? Well, most of the premium ones can. Opt-in Monster can, Pop-up Builder can, Thrive Leads can, Pop-up Domination can, but they don't all have like a very, very good engine for it. Thrive Leads is the best for me, and I'm going to show you one that I'm running right now. So I'm just testing a new pop-up on a new category, and so far I'm not doing very good, to be honest. You can see my conversion rates ranging from 0 to 1.37% conversion rate, 1.59, sorry, conversion rate. So yeah, it doesn't do very well, but you can see that Thrive Leads does a really good job at plotting everything that's working for you, showing you conversion rate, showing you the chances to be the original. And you can see that if I only created one pop-up in that case, my original is actually not converting at all. I'm getting 0 conversions. So if you're that guy that just created one pop-up and didn't A/B test it, then you might be in that situation where you're getting no leads and you're saying, well, that pop-up stuff was bullshit and it doesn't work. Well, it does work, but it takes some optimization work over time. And that's what I'm doing right here. And you can say I'm A/B testing the headlines here. So if we open them, you can see my control one that doesn't convert. and let's just open the one that converts very well. But basically my control one says download our free juicing recipes ebook for health and weight loss. So it's a very, very bland statement. And this one is saying passionate about juicing, we are too. So just that one change of headline, and you know, over 723 impressions, we got 0 conversion on the download. On the download thing, and we got 10 conversions, 11 conversions. On the passionate about juicing, we are too. Just relating to people, and we're going to talk about headlines in a minute, but just showing you like how the A/B testing work in Strive leads, and I'm just putting all these pop-ups in each other. And when I have a winner, it's going to be very easy to like take that winner and create more variations of it until I get, you know, my 4, 5, 6, 7% conversion rates as I improve the pop-up. So I will know which headline is working for me, and then I can jump on the next element. So that's basically it. Now, how do we structure A/B testing? Well, what I suggest people do initially is, and we're going to take the example of my girlfriend's travel blog, because that's what I do with my girlfriend's blog. How do you structure it? Well, you need to test the most basic thing and the most significant things initially. So as you start your A/B test, initially you'll be able to get big wins. So you'll be able to jump from, as you saw, 0 to almost 2% conversion rate, and then maybe from 2 to 3% and so on. And then you're going to refine, and you know, your gains will be lower, but this is when you get to the very high conversion rate as you keep doing that. So the first thing you want to test, and most people, you know, will test the headline and so on. In that case, the headline is my second A/B test, but the first A/B test I always run, and that's something that very few people do, is I A/B test the actual offer. I don't A/B test the title, I A/B test the actual offer. And we're going to create one right now. I'm going to call it demo. And we will be A/B testing different things that we offer to people. So I'm going to go in a Lightbox, and if you didn't see the tutorial, well, that's a good catch up for you. And I'll call it control. I'll always call my first pop-up control, so I know that's the first one I created. And I've brainstormed a bunch of lead magnets. That's what I did in this text file. So you can see the test best cities, to move to escape the winter. 5 tips to save up to 85% on plane tickets. Sleep in any city in the world, for less than $10 a night. Tips and hacks. Dealing with Tourista, I mistyped that. Dealing with Tourista, how recover in 2 hours from any food poisoning. And you know, I'm just thinking about all the problems that the people that travel may have. And finally, how to avoid getting ripped off as a tourist. 5 tips to avoid bad deals when you travel. So these are like the problems that people traveling may be experiencing, and people that are interested in traveling. And so these are the people that my girlfriend wants on her blog. So that's why we brainstorm these 5 ideas. Now, a lot of people will be like, hey, but do I have to create all 5 lead magnets? Well, no, you don't. That's the thing. Initially, what I do is I create a new thank you page, and we're going to start there. That just basically says, oops, the download you asked for is not ready yet. And it can be as simple as, oops, the file I'm going to go in visual, you want to download is not ready yet, but we'll email it to you as soon as it is. In the meantime, feel free to check these great blog posts for travelers. And here I would just go post 1, post 2, post 3. It's really simple. Post 1, post 2, post 3. And there I would just put a link. And publish it. So this is going to be my thank you page. When people opt into a pop-up, they're going to land on that page, and you can set that up in your MailChimp or whatever email system you're using. You're going to be able to set up that thank you page that says, hey, this file is not ready yet. And you can see this is just a very basic page that says, oops, the file you want is not ready. In the meantime, check out this great blog post for traveler, and people can go to a blog post. What does that mean? that means, well, yeah, you're tricking your customers initially, but what you want to know is which of these 5 ideas is going to get people to enter their email in a pop-up to join your mailing list. And once you figure out the one that converts the best, you create that one and you email it to everyone. Now, some people will not have opted for that one, but most people will. And the second thing is, well, these people that opted in for maybe sleep in any city in the world for less than $10 a night, and maybe you created 5 tips to save up to 85% on plane tickets, you know, they're probably interested as well. If they want to sleep for cheap, they're probably interested as well. And you tell them, sorry, that project was cancelled. However, we've created that other resource about saving on plane tickets. If you want to download, it's here. And, you know, if people are pissed off about that, they can click unsubscribe. And that's fine. You lose some subscribers. But you will have learned something that will help your business forever, which is what is the right kind of lead magnet you need to create, while only needing to spend the resources to create one. And that's the real power of that tactic. Well, obviously, Strive Lead is going to calculate which of the pop-up gets the more opt-ins, so you can actually keep it pretty simple. But I would put people in different email lists as well, so that you can email them separately about different things. So you can email people about the sleep in any city in the world and tell them this sleep in any city in the world has been cancelled, and so on and so on. So people know about this. And yeah, initially maybe a couple people won't be super happy, but you'll be surprised at how many people just don't mind. You know, they don't care. Some people will unsubscribe, but you get, you know, maybe an extra 2 or 3% conversion rate just because you offer the right thing to your audience. So that's the number one tactic, and if you do that, you can get an incredible amount of opt-ins just by doing that. So that's how I would do it. So that would be my first test, and I'm not going to do it now because it would take long. I'm going to show you the pop-ups using the headline example, and that's the next thing we do, and that's the test I'm running right here. I'm testing different headlines. So once you have your lead magnet that works for you, then what you want to do is you want to A/B test your headlines. And in the course, I've actually prepared a bunch of headline examples that you can use. Let me just go and find it. Here you go. So you can see I have 7 types of headlines I'd like you to test, and I suggest you use all 7 initially. So let's just imagine that I have a pop-up, not here, but here. Let's imagine I have a pop-up that sells this lead magnet, which is 5 tips to save up to 85% on plane tickets. And let's just imagine this is that. Then you just need to go on the course and say, the first one is just a basic download headline, and that's your control, so that you can see which psychological principle is working on your customers and really how much more you get out of using it. So then you can combine them, and that's why I like to make a very plain, boring one initially. So download our first free guide to save up to 85% on plane tickets. So that would be my first headline, and I would just save that one, and that's my control. Then what you need to do is you need to go back, and we're going to craft these headlines together because I think this is going to be quite helpful for you guys. And I'm going to show you that you can basically craft these headlines for any niche. So this one is going to be test 1, and I'm going to go and edit it. You can see I duplicated it, so everything is the same except that, so you can really run your A/B test pretty quickly. Then I go back to my course. The next one is the question. So the question would be, are you interested in saving up to 85% on plane tickets? And you can see this one is appealing more to curiosity, and then in your subheadline you would probably want to explain what this is. Download our free ebook here. Ebook to learn how to do it. And I would probably just put this here and maybe a little bit bigger. Something like this. And that would be my second headline. And you can see that I would not want to change anything else in the design. I don't want to change any other word than the headline. So I know that the gain in conversion is not attributed to a different color, attributed to something else. is attributed to that headline, because that's the only difference between these pop-ups. And maybe you're a little bit impatient to test all these things, but the real way to get a lot of progress is just to test things one by one. So then I'm just going to clone it, and I'm going to call it test2. And I'm going back to my headline, and this one is just a social proof thing. So, you know, I don't advise to lie, but if you're just getting started, I don't think you're really hurting your brand a lot by saying a bunch of people downloaded this dressing recipe. In that case, not dressing recipe, but whatever you're offering. In that case, it was really true. Over 20,000 people downloaded it. But you know, if you're getting started, you can just say over 200 people maybe, or something like that. Just give yourself some social proof on that. And I would say over 500 people are using this guide to save up to 85% on plane tickets. And that would be my headline that gives some social proof. And so I will see, using all these psychological principles, I'm going to see which of them is just like working best with my audience. And I'm going to show you how to A/B test everything against each other after. So I'm going to call it test 3. Then go and edit it, go and check my headline. We are the same. So this one is about, you know, showing that you and your audience, you care about the same thing. So maybe I would say, like traveling? Me too. Learn how I save 85% on my plane tickets. And that would be like, I'm connecting. Hey, we're the same. Learn how I do this. And that, you know, builds some trust with people. So it's quite powerful. And you know, a lot of these principles are extracted from books that I've been reading, such as Cash Advertising or Influence or that kind of book. And there's going to be a list of recommended books on that course, obviously. So if you go and check at the bottom, you'll be able to read a bunch of books that give you all these principles of influence that we're using to convince people to give us their email, essentially. So I'm going to create my test 4, and there's 7 in total. Get more. So for example, the get more in that case is like, get more of whatever you already have. So I'll be like, traveling on budget, learn how to save even more on plane tickets. And that's just saying, just qualifying people who are traveling on budget, and then saying, hey, you can get even more savings by using this free guide. And that will be how I word that question 1. And then I'm going to duplicate it again. There's 2 more, so it's going to go quick. The next one will be the numbers. So the numbers is like, you want to use some very, very specific number just to give it a little bit of like, it's kind of hard to explain, but people react to very exact numbers in a very strange way. That's why when you watch advertisement, you see, people in white coats giving you some very specific numbers. It just looks more believable. So I saved $5,476 last year on plane tickets. On plane tickets last year, using these tips. And you can see this number just attracts people's attention quite a bit. So using a very exact numbers is very powerful. So I would try that one for sure. You know, obviously don't just make a number out of your ass, but you know, give something that's realistic so that people think that it's kind of a case study and they're gonna get a real breakdown of thing, and as a result you get more opt-ins. Then the last one being the urgency. The urgency is basically taking your offer and telling people, hey, we're gonna pull it out soon. And I'm going to call it limited offer. Let's just give it test 6 first. And you really want to like keep like a good naming convention for all these pop-ups, because you're going to create a lot of them. And you can see you can archive them. As you can see, I made that mistake. And let's just make that headline, that final one, and I'll be like limited time offer. And the brackets really help drawing attention, so that's a good one to do as well. So limited time offer. Download my free tips to save 85% on plane tickets. And obviously, if I see that two tactics are working together, I would combine them. So if imagine that my exact number worked and my scarcity one, so like the limited time offer worked as well, then I'll probably be A/B testing this headline against limited time offer. Learn how I saved $5,476 on plane tickets this year. So you can see how I'll be able to combine these headlines for even more conversions once I have all the data about the different principles and how well they do with my audience. So now I've created all my headlines. Then what I would do is I would click on Start A/B Test, and you're going to see that I can give it a title. So I'll be like Headline A/B Test. And then what's really powerful with Thrive Leads is you can have automatic winner settings, so that when there's a pop-up that's clearly the winner in that case, it's going to keep showing that one and remove the others from the test. So even if you don't have time to get back to your A/B test or you're doing something else, then the plugin is going to do the best it can to improve your conversions without you looking at it. And you can see you can ask for a minimum of 100 conversions before it picks a winner, a minimum of 14 days, and a chance to beat the original of minimum 95%. So you're pretty sure after all of this that the pop-up that wins is going to be the best for you. And you can go back on your stats and create new ones and test them against your winner. And that's how you do it. So now I create that A/B test, and you can see I have basically the same screen as here, except that there's no data yet. And then you will be able to pick a winner very quickly. If you want to pick a winner, you can click on Stop Test and choose winner, which I'm going to do over there. And then you can see all your stats, and you can set a winner, pick that one, and then make more variations of that winner. So once we've done the headline, the next thing I would work on is I would work on my images. And there's a video down there at the images section where I explain how to get a bunch of ebook images and so on for just $5. I'll link you to some Fiverr gigs and so on. So it's pretty easy to do at this point. And for around $25, you'll be able to improve your conversions for the images without really having to do anything. You can just outsource it, create clones, change the image, and you are done. So it's pretty simple. Then the next thing I would do is A/B test my CTA, and for that I'm going to stop the test, pick a winner, and show you how to edit the CTA because it's a little bit tricky in Thrive Leads. So you go in here, and the CTA is basically get instant access. And you're going to want to A/B test different things in that CTA, the color, the text, and so on. How do you do that? First, you go to your pop-up course because I prepared a bunch of CTAs for you. So let's just go and get it. Here's my list of CTAs. So free instant access, instant download, download now, free download, name of lead magnet, etc. Because giving more precise call to actions just does better for you. So the way you do that is you click on your form here, and then you click on edit components and submit button. And here you get that little thing, and maybe instead of get instant access, I would change it to like free download. Free download. And here we go. So we changed it to free download. If you wanted to use some images that you found on the internet, you can also do that. Click on submit button, convert to image, and you can just pick an image here. So that it would be pretty simple. So yeah, once you are done with your copy, your headline, you're done with your image, then test the button. That's the next thing you want to test. The button color, the button style, the button text. And finally, the last thing you want to do is take that whole process we just talked about, which is pretty lengthy, and apply it on a category level. When we applied things to a category level, we were able to get 3 times more conversions. And how do you do that? It's actually pretty simple. So it goes back to your lead group. So it's on the lead group level. You take your lead group and you click on display settings, and this is where you open that page that allows you to choose where the pop-up you created is going to show up. So you can pick categories. In that case, there's not many categories. So I'm probably going to go on Health Ambition to show you. It's going to be easier. So when you arrive here, you can really pick where you want to see that pop-up show up. And we recommend to use categories. And you can see all the categories of your WordPress site are showing up. And you can pick different categories. So if we start making a pop-up for maybe recipes and create a healthy recipe ebook, then we get a lot more emails than if we just offer a generic offer. Same for sleeping, maybe 3 steps to improve your sleep. If we create a pop-up for that, we get more emails than if we just made a generic health offer. And on top of that, it allows us to segment our email list. So if we know people are opting in for sleeping problems, then we're able to follow back up with them with solutions to help their sleep, rather than like stuff to lose weight. So we are able to make a lot more money from these emails and get more emails at the same time. So take all the principles that we talked about in terms of A/B testing and apply them on a category level, and that's how you reach very, very high conversion rates. So I hope you found that video useful. I know it was a little bit long, but I think this is the real value of opt-in pop-ups and how you can push it to get 3-4 times more emails than your competitors, even if they use opt-in pop-ups. So I'll see you in the next video.